Welcome to another episode of the MMA Lockcast. I'm your host, MJ, aka MMA Lock of the Night, and your boy on Twitter at MMA LOTN. I'm coming off a plus 2.48 unit international fight week where I went 1-0 on the tough finale with the Luis Pena-Richie Smolin fight not to go to a decision, and then UFC 226, the heartbreaker of all, the kick in the nuts, the robbery of $5,000 in terms of my open parlay that I had closing with my lock of the night play, which whiffed. I had Derek Lewis and Francis Zingano not going to a decision, and that one really fucking hurt. Yes, it sounds like I'm dying because I feel like I died watching that fight, as I'm sure many of you did. That one really hurt. However, my dog of the night play, which was Daniel Cormier, I had 2 units on him at plus 246, so I almost broke even that night. So thankfully I was, at least the DC fight was last, so I kind of ended on the high note with a spectacular win from his end. Still mystified that I was able to get him at such high odds as like plus 246. It's surprising that people were just writing DC off and thinking Stipe was going to take it. But you know what? Good for us sharps. Good for us gamblers out there that can recognize spots like this and take advantage of it. So it was great that DC was able to get the win, establish himself in the GOAT discussion. And, great for me again. Again, plus 2.48 units on the International Fight Week. As we move on into UFC Idaho, that goes down this weekend. I got 3 plays on that card, as well as 1 play on the one championship fight that goes down tomorrow morning, Friday morning. So if you guys happen to catch this Thursday night when I drop this, hopefully I can persuade you guys to tail me in that, and we can make a quick buck off of that. So without further ado, I got plenty to break down in this episode. Still want to keep it under 15 minutes or so, so let's get right to it. Let's kick off the UFC Idaho card. My first play is actually the first play of the night, or the first fight of the night. I got 1 unit on Jodie Esquibel to beat Jessica Aguilar. I actually think that Jodie Esquibel will win a decision. I got her at plus 121 when the line initially dropped. She was roughly around minus 140, minus 150, which I still think she's kind of worth a shot at that price. I bet Jodie Esquibel back when they were originally supposed to fight. I can't remember the number that I got her at, but I think it was, a little bit better than that, maybe plus 160 or so. It was interesting because Esquibel was the dog, all the way up until fight night till that fight got canceled. And now in this fight, the line is flipped. Aguilar is a dog now. So I'm assuming people were, did their homework and really looked into it and saw that, many people were on Esquibel back then, so they're going to take that and go into this fight with that as well. In my opinion, this fight, I think it's Jodie Esquibel's dancing shoes and her footwork that are going to win this fight for her. As long as she stays on her bicycle, she's able to, stay on the move, pitter-patter Aguilar with her boxing. She has very crisp boxing. She has very good foot movement, and Aguilar may have the grappling advantage in this fight, but I don't think that Esquibel will succumb to the pressure that Aguilar may put on her. I doubt Aguilar will be able to close the distance, throughout the fight to win the judges' scorecard, but I wouldn't be surprised if she eventually got Esquibel down at least once or twice. But Esquibel does have good get-up game. She will be able to get up off the ground. Aguilar doesn't have the best positional, dominance. Courtney Casey pretty much beat Aguilar off her back the entire fight. So I don't think, Esquibel is a little tank. She has good movement and she's strong, and I think she'll be able to, if she does find herself in a compromising situation with Aguilar, she'll be able to get up and get on the feet and make Aguilar punish Aguilar for the energy that she expended to get Esquibel down in the beginning. So, again, I got Esquibel decisioning Aguilar, and I played her at plus 121 odds at 1 unit. Moving right on, I got De La Rosa with the second round sub over Garcia, Jennifer Maia decisioning Liz Carmouche, Holaba decisioning Barcelos, Justin Scoggins decisioning Nurmagomedov. I really hope Justin Scoggins shows up. He's a great fucking talent, and I just refuse to, bet on any of his fights until he finally comes into his groove. That moves us right into my lock of the night play for UFC Idaho, which is Alexander Volkanovski, I got him at minus 258. I have him decisioning Darren Elkins because that motherfucker just does not go away. So we know what we're going to get with Volkanovski. If you watch his last fight with Jeremy Kennedy, who is also a pretty, legit grappler, Volkanovski was able to just completely squash him. Kennedy didn't really have much for him in return, and Volkanovski's pressure game, grappling game, top game is just so fucking brutal. It's very, it's very dominant, and I don't think it'll be any different against Darren Elkins. We all know the fib that happened with Mirsad Bektik. We all know that he blew his wad. We all know that Elkins has heart and was able to out-cardio Bektik and get that late finish. But I don't think we're going to see that with Volkanovski. I think, Bektik was a little bit young and green still a monster prospect at that time. But he really blew his wad, and I think that's something that Volkanovski is going to be able to learn from. And, he may not seek out the finish, but he will do enough to, maybe get a 10-8 in round here and there. But I think he dominates Elkins throughout the fight with his top-heavy game. I don't think Elkins is going to, submit him. I don't think Elkins will knock him out. Elkins is just going to take a beating in this fight, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see Volkanovski get the finish, and if in case Elkins has just taken too much damage in his last couple fights. So I got Alexander Volkanovski 5 units at minus 258. He's roughly around minus 320 now, I'd say. It was interesting. The line opened at around minus 160, went up to about minus 300 or so, then came back down to minus 250 to minus 258, which is when I nabbed him, and then he went back up to minus 330. So I'm sure some people were happy to get a nice plus money tag on Darren Elkins, but I just don't think that Volkanovski is the guy to bet against in this fight. So moving right on, I got Alejandro Perez decisioning Eddie Wineland. And then we move on to my last play of the night, which is a 2-unit dog of the night play on Kat Zingano. I believe she's going to decision Marion Reneau, and I got her at plus 105. Again, that was for 2 units. So, Zingano hasn't fought that much, but when she has, she's fought pretty much top flight competition. Caitlin Vieira, monster. She's pretty much on the cusp of a title shot. I think she has future title hopes, and I think she achieves that potential. And then the fight before that, she just got out grappled by the better grappler in Juliana Pena. But in this fight, I see many ways for her to win. Reneau is crafty with her jiu-jitsu. She was able to get that submission on Sarah McMahon in her last fight, but I don't think that this is I don't think this is that fight. Zingano is very well versed on the ground, but I don't think that Reneau has what it takes to submit Kat Zingano. Kat Zingano, we kind of know what her game plan is. She closes the distance very quickly and does what she can to get your butt on the ground and then just dominate you from on top. She's going to be a big girl in this fight. She spoke a lot about her brain injury and being all foggy in her last podcast with Joe Rogan. But I really think that this is a fight that will remind people that Kat Zingano is still around. Reneau at 40 or 41, whatever she's at, I just don't think that she has as much fire that Kat Zingano has at this point in her career. And she just has terrible takedown defense as well, in my opinion. And I don't think it'll be very hard for Zingano to get Reneau down. Reneau's striking is decent, but I think I would rate Zingano's striking slightly better. And then on the ground, I think just Zingano's positional awareness, her top dominance is going to be the deciding factor in this fight. We may see Reneau get some success here and there, but I think overall we're going to see Zingano come away with a decision victory here, whether 29-28, winning the first 2 rounds and maybe dropping the third. But let's not forget that Kat Zingano finished Amanda Nunes late, she finished Miesha Tate late, so we can't completely write off Kat Zingano in the third round. That was my second dog of the night play, 2 units at plus 105. Let's move on for the quick picks for the rest of the card. I got Miles Jury with a first round KO over Chad Mendes. I know most of you guys may be shocked about that, so just hit me up on Twitter and I'd be happy to break it down for you guys. Moving right on, Nico Price, second round TKO over Randy Brown. Dennis Bermudez decisioning Rick Glenn. Sage Northcutt decisioning Zach Otto. And JDS coming back to form with a first round KO over Blagoy Ivanov. Let me just break down my one FC play for you guys real quick. One championship goes down Friday morning, at least Eastern Standard Time. It's called Pursuit of Power. I love that they do names for their events. It's pretty fucking cool in my opinion. But yeah, I got in the main event. I got Aguilar and Thani beating Zebaztian Kadestam. I believe he will decision him, if not get a late choke. I got Thani at minus 221. I got 5 units on him. I think that, he kind of reminds me of like a Malaysian Brett Johns. He's very relentless, always going for the clinch, always going for the takedown, always trying to dominate from on top. He could have a little bit, better dominance from on top in terms of, being able to maintain position. But against a guy like Zebaztian Kadestam, I don't think he's going to have too much trouble against the Swede. He should be able to get Kadestam down within the first couple minutes of the fight. He has good enough, stand-up to hold his own and to close the distance against Kadestam. So as long as he doesn't throw any lazy type of takedown where he just dives for the legs, Kadestam could probably just catch him with a flying knee or something like that. But I think Thani is kind of well-versed enough and should be trained well enough to avoid that. I believe he's been doing most of his training camps out in Team Quest, so we know he's going to be, working with a lot of good wrestlers and should be tightening up any of those loose screws that he has with his wrestling. So I think we see a dominant victory here for Thani. And I think it was just an easy play. As soon as I started taping it, I liked it right off the bat. And as I finished off my tape, I liked it even more. So I had to go with the lock of the night play on that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I might be dropping a Bellator 202 lock of the night play, before the fights actually go down. I still got to do a little bit of tape, but just keep your eyes peeled on my Twitter page. And if I release a play, you guys will see it there. But until then, I just have, my one championship play as well as my 3 plays for UFC Idaho. So make sure you guys, do your own work if you want to. Check the tape if you want. Otherwise, take my word for it. Tell me, and let's go make some fucking money. Next week, I'm going to be back to break down UFC Hamburg, which is Shogun versus Smith. Until then, good luck with your bets. And I'm gone.